everyone, this is Norse, once again your immigration consultant. But before I go further for my topic about immigration for today, I would ask your favor to please share, subscribe, and like my video. So IRCC extends transition period for distance learning measures to December 2023. In response to the COVID-19 pandemic, Immigration, Refugee, and Citizenship Canada has announced that it is expanding its distance learning program. And that is until December 31, 2023. Students who studied abroad for less than 50% of their PGWP-eligible coursework would be qualified for a post-graduation work permit, or they call it PGWP. Prior to the pandemic, all overseas students had to complete no more than 50% of their coursework online. And PGWP eligibility was not affected by time spent studying online outside Canada. The IRCC lifted the ban on online study for students who met the following criteria. So listen to the criteria. Began PGWP eligible programs between March 2020 and August 31, 2022, were enrolled in PGWP eligible programs in progress in March 2020. Accordingly, anyone who started their studies abroad before August 31, 2022 can apply all of that time towards their PGWP eligibility. Only 50% of the time can be considered for a student who began their studies between September 1, 2022 and December 31, 2023. What is a post-graduation work permit? For foreign students who intend to reside and work in Canada after completing their course of study, a PGWP is an open work permit. PGWP holders are able to work for nearly any employer in Canada because it is an open work permit. The duration of the PGWP might run up to 3 years, depending on the length of the study program you finish. According to the IRCC update, time spent studying at a DLI or Designated Learning Institute while a student was outside of Canada doesn't start to count against the PGWP's duration until the department received the study permit application. Let's discuss also about the students' eligibility requirements include completed at least an 8-month long academic, vocational, or professional training program at a DLI or Designated Learning Institute. Obtaining a transcript and an official letter from the qualified DLI attesting that the applicant has satisfied the requirements to complete their program of study, which will be submitted with the PGWP application. After completing their studies, those who remain in Canada on a PGWP can use any job experience they have accrued to get permanent resident status application. Of course, you have to apply because many federal and provincial immigration programs favor applicants with Canadian education and work history. I would like also to let you know, everyone, that studying doesn't mean you have to finish your studies if you can't afford anymore or if you can't do it anymore. Because studying at the same time working is difficult and of course paying thousands of dollars. Check the website, there's a lot of options for you. If you came here as an international student, you can always find while you're studying or you have the study permit, you can always find an employer who can sponsor you under the LMIA. You can have that kind of sponsorship under LMIA. If your employer offer you a job offer or LMIA, then you have the option to transfer from being a student to work permit under whatever category or job offer that the employer is giving you, or the LMIA, or Labor Market Impact Assessment. I'm just gonna set an example. If you are an international student here in Canada and you found somebody who wants to sponsor you under the caregiver program, I'm setting an example. That caregiver program can give you an LMIA, and that LMIA you can work for a close work permit to the immigration, and then you can apply for that, and then you can gain that 1 year experience as a nanny. And because we have a program in the immigration side under economic class that after working for 1 year as a caregiver or as a nanny, you can use that experience, as long as it's a legitimate experience, to apply for permanent residence. So when you apply someday for permanent residence again, before you can complete the requirements, you need to get the English exam, and of course, being assessed from the WES or CELPIP. So there you go, guys. But again, if you want to continue your studies, yes, you can. You can always finish up your studies, but again, that after finishing your studies, you're gonna get your open permit. If the DLI offers open work permit after graduation, then you can actually accumulate another maybe 1 year to apply for Canada Experience class. Always, you need to take an English exam and the World Education Services or CELPIP. So if you choose to finish up your studies, that means like minimum $20,000, I guess. You can pay that and finishing up your studies, and then you get your open work permit. Then you could be able to gain some experience and then apply for permanent residence. But the shortcut is, I'm sorry to say this, but as an immigration consultant, I have all these experiences and technique you can always find. While if you can't afford to study, you have the option to seek an LMIA or job offer from any employer who can offer you. Especially, I'm saying, immigration can actually give you a work permit under a caregiver program. Then once you finish it to 1 year, then you can apply for permanent residence. So that's the technique that you can do if you are an international student here. So if you want to clarify more, you can always message me or send some information to me, and I can always email back, or you can always email me. That's more preferable, everybody. I'm gonna put my email address on the comment below so that you could be able to reach out to me, and we'll go from there if you are an international student. So there's a lot of options, especially if you were a university graduate or college graduate from your overseas school, then you can always apply a better options here to become a permanent resident of Canada. So that's all for now. I hope everybody understood what I'm trying to say. Your options as an international student, and then you can become a permanent resident eventually. So there's always a hope. Again, seek the professional. Don't